Okay, so Governor Kathy Hochul basically shuts down GOP map rigging. She's spelling out how New Yorkers keep a real say when the other side tries to game the map. And the fight fire with fire plan drops because accountability means draw legal, transparent lines, take cheaters to court, and protect voters. Let's watch the full clip and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
We have time for one off topic.
Governor, with some things going on right now with OCM having to talk dispensary owners and CDPAP rollout still kind of ongoing, I mean, why is this the right time for redistricting?
I don't understand the premise of the question. You think I can't do three things at once?
Well, one of those things won't matter until 2028, so I would imagine it's more.
No, I think you're misjudging my capability as governor. I deal with hundreds of different issues, sometimes in the course of the same day. I can manage the CDPAP rollout. In fact, it's going now very well. We have over 200,000 people have transitioned to it. The only ones who haven't are the holdouts who have taken us to court, and they're going to lose. So that's my argument on that. And we've had it's working well. So that's behind us. OCM, I have said we're not going to let anyone be displaced because of decisions made that I think were, at odds with what the law was early on. And when you find out, you identify. After I wanted a full autopsy of what's going on in that agency, I wanted to know exactly what is happening with my new leadership. I wanted them to tell me the challenges. They found something that we cannot close our eyes to, a conflict between the application of the policy and the law as it was written. So the law can be changed. The law will be changed. We'll make sure it's consistent. But in the meantime, I have already declared that we will not hurt any company that is already in a location or is in the process of approval. And redistricting goes to the fact that our state, as a large state, as a beneficiary of Medicaid programs, where half of all children in New York State are on Medicaid, a third of all New Yorkers, and hundreds of thousands of families rely on nutrition programs for their meals, or the countless other programs that are being eviscerated because of the Republican domination in Washington. The White House, the House, and the Senate, there are no checks and balances because of what has been happening. And so here you have a situation where the president tells the governor of another state, Texas, to find me 5 more Republican seats. What that'll do is ensure that there's no fair elections next year in 2026, because I know that they've looked at the polls. They know that they're going to lose the House of Representatives in 2026, and that's going to happen because people are rebelling against the policies I just described. So I, as a governor, have an obligation to stand up and fight fire with fire. It's not a path I plan to go down, but I'm not going to let that happen because we are the collateral damage of those decisions in Washington, and I can't let that go on in perpetuity without at least giving the voters a fair chance to change the leadership in Washington, certainly in the House of Representatives in 2026. That's why, and if you want to bring up any other topic, I assure you my capacity for an expansive array of topics is enormous. Women are really good multitaskers. All right, thanks.
So you're not putting politics over government right now?
It's part of government. I'm protecting New York State and what I'm doing. Because all the policies I'm talking about are hurting the people I represent. And I'm going to fight for them. That's what this is about.
Hochul's fight fire with fire line, it isn't a throwaway. It's the only rational posture when the map itself is being turned into a partisan weapon. Redistricting decides who even gets to compete. If you hand your opponent the pen, you've already surrendered the next Congress. The question isn't really whether Democrats should care about maps. It's whether they're willing to defend representation within the law while the other side, tries to sandbag the field. That's the frame she's finally embracing, isn't it? And it's overdue. Here's why urgency is warranted. The House is largely pre-decided by district lines. Fair vote, I think it was, projects that 81% of 2026 House races are effectively locked before ballots are cast, meaning most voters are spectators, not deciders. And the current national map already bakes in a skew. The Brennan Center's analysis found the post-2020 maps produce a net 16 fewer Biden districts than a non-gerrymandered baseline, which, raises the cost of winning a majority no matter how voters swing. You just don't message your way out of that structural math. You redraw legally and transparently, or, you get rolled. Meanwhile, The Republican strategy isn't subtle. Trump has been pushing redistricting as a partisan cudgel, right? Urging allies that the GOP is entitled to more seats and cheering mid-decade do-overs in places like Texas. Texas Republicans have been moving toward new maps, with Democrats staging dramatic resistance and national Republicans signaling they'll squeeze like everything they can out of 2026. That's not rumor. It's in letters, speeches, and state house maneuvers this week. If that's the play, blue states sort of can't meet it with a shrug and a civics lecture. Crucially, the legal terrain forces this fight to the states. Since, Rucho versus Common Cause in 2019, federal courts won't police partisan gerrymanders. The Supreme Court said that's a political question beyond, federal jurisdiction. Racial vote dilution still triggers federal scrutiny. Allen versus Milligan in 2023 proved Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act has teeth. You see, but purely partisan line drawing lives or dies under state constitutions, state courts, and state commissions. Translation: if you want fair maps, you organize and litigate at home, or you lose at home, right? New York specifically isn't a free-for-all. It has guardrails voters put there on purpose. The 2014 constitutional amendment created an independent redistricting commission with the legislature's authority tightly cabined, and New York's Court of Appeals nuked the legislature's 2022 congressional map as an unconstitutional partisan gerrymander. That's a bright line. If Hochul and Albany acted, they have to do it inside the 2014 framework, withstand judicial review, and respect the criteria New Yorkers approve. Anything less will get tossed, as it did in 2022, So I'm thinking, what does a pro-democracy counter look like in New York? Well, you start by honoring the process. The commission proposes, the legislature responds within constitutional bounds, courts are prepared to check abuses. The 2024 commission plans and subsequent legislative steps show the machinery is there. Use it, don't bulldoze it. Publish criteria up front, compactness, contiguity, communities of interest, Voting Rights Act, compliance, stuff like that. Release shapefiles in real time and attach a memo that walks through every district's rationale so a judge and the public can audit it. I guess that's how you fight fire without burning down the house. Let's also kill the lazy both sides gerrymander dodge by setting a higher bar and meeting it. If Democrats claim to defend democracy, their map should be legible, community respecting, and court ready. And they should say out loud they'd back a national ban on partisan gerrymandering tomorrow, right? The Brennan Center has laid out, workable standards like the Freedom to Vote Act's test that would end this arms race. Until Congress enacts them, states have to protect their voters from asymmetric hardball. The principle is simple, or well, maybe not simple, but it's transparent criteria plus independent review beats secret backroom lines. Politically, this isn't academic. A skewed house decides whether Medicaid is expanded or gutted, whether climate funds reach states, whether voting rights are protected or strangled, things like that. If Texas manufactures, say, 5 extra GOP seats and no blue state answers within the law, the policy fallout lands on working families in places like Buffalo and the Bronx. That's why Hochul's posture matters, It connects the lines on a map to dollars in a budget and rights in people's lives. The map is policy. It's policy. Full stop. Bottom line, I think I support Hochul's willingness to counter MAGA map rigging with one non-negotiable: do it by the book and in the sunlight. New York's constitution and courts are a feature, not a bug. They're how you build durable maps that survive lawsuits and respect voters. Use every legal lever, move on a 2026 timeline, and make the case publicly so New Yorkers understand the why, not just the what. I think that's how you protect representation without sacrificing the democratic norms we're fighting to save. Let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. While you guys are down there, do me a massive favor, hit that subscribe button and also give the video a thumbs up as well. I appreciate you guys, and as usual, I will see you guys in the next one.